Welcome to Daily Scripture Reading. I do not own the rights to this music. Mark chapter 8, beginning at verse 1 and ending at verse 26. This is the Amplified Version. 4,000 fed. In those days, when there was again a large crowd gathered before him, and they had nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples and told them, I feel compassion for the crowd. They have been with me now for 3 days, and have nothing left to eat. If I send them away to their homes hungry, they will faint from exhaustion on the road, because some of them have come a long way. His disciples replied to him, Where will anyone be able to find enough bread here in this isolated place to feed this people? He asked them, How many loaves of bread do you have? They said, 7. He directed the people to sit down on the ground, and taking the 7 loaves, he gave thanks and broke them, and repeatedly gave them to his disciples to set before them, and they served the crowd. They also had a few small fish, and when Jesus had blessed them and given thanks, he ordered these fish to be set before them as well. And the people ate and were satisfied. And they picked up 7 large baskets full of the broken pieces that were left over. About 4,000 men were there, besides women and children, and he sent them away. Then immediately he got into the boat with his disciples and went to the district of Dalmanutha. The Pharisees came out and began to argue contentiously and debate with him, demanding from him a sign from heaven to test him because of their unbelief. He groaned and sighed deeply in his spirit and said, Why does this generation demand a sign? I assure you and most solemnly say to you, no sign will be given to this generation. Leaving them, he again boarded the boat and left for the other side. Now the disciples had forgotten to bring bread, and they had only 1 loaf with them in the boat. Jesus repeatedly ordered them, saying, Watch out, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. They began discussing this with one another, saying, It is because we have no bread that he said this. Jesus, aware of this discussion, said to them, Why are you discussing the fact that you have no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Though you have eyes, do you not see? And though you have ears, do you not hear and listen to what I have said? And do you not remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets full of broken pieces you picked up? They answered, 12. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many large baskets full of broken pieces did you pick up? And they answered, 7. And he was saying to them, Do you still not understand? Then they came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man to Jesus, and begged him to touch him. Taking the blind man by the hand, he led him out of the village, and after spitting on his eyes and laying his hands on him, he asked him, Do you see anything? And he looked up and said, I see people, but they look like trees walking around. Then again, Jesus laid his hands on his eyes, and the man stared intently, and his sight was completely restored. And he began to see everything clearly. And he sent him to his home, saying, Do not even enter the village. The end. God bless you, and thank you for joining me today.